9:35. In today's Health Matters, each year, nearly 500,000 people are actually diagnosed with Lyme disease.
As we enter into peak Lyme disease season, we want to reiterate the importance of protecting yourself. We're joined by Lyme disease survivor Samantha Sloves, who's now helping others navigate the illness. Samantha, welcome. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share my story.
It's a really important story. So take us back to when you were first diagnosed. You were just 14 years old.
Yes.
And people usually think that it comes with a rash or maybe flu-like symptoms, but that was not your case. What happened?
No, so it's a really common misconception that you get a bullseye rash, and that's what everyone's looking for. But almost 70% or more of us don't get that rash. So it really can throw you for a loop and throw the doctors for a loop when you don't have the typical symptoms, which I didn't have. I was so sick and I had a myriad of symptoms, and the biggest issue with Lyme is that it mimics so many diseases. It mimics arthritis, lupus, MS, mental disorders, schizophrenia, and what happened with me was I was diagnosed within a few weeks before I had trouble walking. And then another specialist counteracted what the Lyme diagnosis doctor said and scared my family and scared us into thinking like, no, Lyme isn't what you have and you're treating her for something she doesn't have, and what's a parent going to do? They're going to listen if they're, you know, being told that. So they took me off treatment only after a few days on antibiotics. And it turned into 2.5 years of this tailspin of misdiagnosis, and that's when I ended up in a wheelchair because I was being treated for things I never had.
Right, yeah. And it's a very long road to recovery.
Very long, and it's not really over yet. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing much better, but I live with a permanent nerve damage. I have a tremor in my hand that you may or may not see, but it affects me. Like, think of like typing, writing, everything you do. Like, you know, I dropped a cup of coffee the other day because I had my computer in one hand, coffee in another. Like,
Right, lifelong symptoms for a lot of people.
100%.
And we mentioned this could literally happen to anybody. I know you were just 14 when this happened, but could you kind of trace it or track it to any activity that you were doing more of during that time, maybe swimming or being outdoors? Because
I'm not an outdoorsy type. Like, I remember vividly being the kid who didn't want to get their sparkly Supergas they begged for on like the holidays. So like, you know, I think a big thing is dogs. People need to check their animals. They need to be aware, especially dark furry dogs, like black-haired dogs. Check your dogs because most people don't realize that that's how it's getting in your house. Your lawn, they're all over. They're in every state, and they're the size of a poppy seed tick.
Yeah.
It's so tiny, so it's so easy to miss. And it's not like a mosquito bite where you're super, super itchy. You could not feel it at all. And it could be there for God knows how long, and that's the problem.
Yeah,
Right.
and did you ever find the like some people say it embeds in your arm or your leg or whatever, maybe did you, because you can check
Never
yourself.
found it.
Yeah, I mean, I check my dog. I have a black dog too, so I check my dog all the time. But all this experience prompted you to launch the service dedicated to patients who are diagnosed with Lyme disease.
Yes.
And so what prompted you to kind of navigate that and want to help others through your story?
What prompted me was I felt like there was a gap. You would go to all these specialists and then you go home.
Yeah.
And you have like 30 things to do and change in your life. You're changing your diet, you're having, you know, new medications, and you're a kid. I was a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't have anyone holding my hand, so to speak, literally and figuratively, saying, you're gonna get better. I've been through what you've been through, and I'm telling you, you're gonna make it out of this. Because I was told at times that I'd never walk again. I was told I was crazy. I was told all these things on the spectrum. So to be told that and not have reassurance that like someone else who's going through it also can tell you like you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So I help with all of the stuff that I felt was not there when my parents needed it.
Yeah.
Like someone to help prep for appointments. You have 15 minutes with a doctor. How are you gonna make the most of that time? I treat it like I treated my experience in private equity. You go in so prepared. You go in like it's a portfolio management meeting, and you go in with your questions and you make sure that you get them answered.
It's an incredible resource. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
The My Lyme Coach. How does that help? What are the key things that folks should be asking in that really important 15 minutes with that physician?
Make sure you ask. I have like a rule of 3. The 3 things that are going to keep you up at night if you don't get an answer. The 3 symptoms that are causing you the most interruption to your life and pain. And then the 3 things that you're curious about. Ask about co-infections. It's not just Lyme disease that a tick bite gives you. It can give you Bartonella, Babesia, Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Ask about things like mast cell, POTS, all these things that come with it. Ask about and make sure that I'm not a doctor, but make sure the treatment you're doing matches your beliefs and your lifestyle. If you're a college kid and you go to a homeopathic person that's going to give you 20 herbs and gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, mold-free diet, you can't sustain that in the dorms. You're going to have to go home. So maybe antibiotics are best. So be a matchmaker and be realistic. That's
how do people download the program?
Go to my website.
Yeah.
It's mylymecoach.org. It's also linked in my bio on my Instagram, which is at mylymecoach.org.
Right. Samantha, how are you coping? Because as you mentioned, you have the tremor. You're still dealing with daily symptoms. How are you handling that? Because you're still thriving, clearly.
Thank you. I take it day by day. I'm extremely goal-oriented, and it's helped a lot. Like, helping other people has helped me a lot, because I feel like I couldn't make sense of what happened for a while, which is why I went into finance and thought that was my journey and my path. And I noticed that like random people from the community would call me, and I became that person that people would call when they had a weird symptom. And I noticed that the long day in finance wasn't satisfying me, but that 30-minute call or 2-hour call, whatever it was, that was the best part of my day. And that's when I realized that I need to help people.
Yeah.
Right. It's great to see you stepping into your purpose.
I feel like this is what I was born to do, is help others through it. And just make sure that like another 14-year-old doesn't end up with nerve damage the way I have it. Like, I don't want anyone to end up the way I did.
Thank you for coming to share your story, and thank you for what you're doing for others now as well. Samantha, good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being with us.